Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. It is Saturday night. How's the World Cup going for you? It's been a very interesting start, hasn't it? And I must remind everybody as well, we're normally live at 8 o'clock every night, but with the World Cup a lot of our shows are going to be 9 PM from tomorrow night. So Sunday Night Live tomorrow with Flex, me and Sophie and all you lot will be 9 PM after Brazil versus Switzerland. So just keep that in your diaries throughout the World Cup. 9 PM, we're pushing back from 8 with all the games clashing on the World Cup. And let's start off. We're going to be talking about Ronaldo. We're going to be talking about De Gea's contract, which apparently hasn't been signed. We were live last night. Manchester Evening News said it had been signed. Apparently it's not. We'll be talking about that. Koulibaly, Pogba's comments about potentially leaving Manchester United, a massive deal with Juventus involving 5 players, and all your normal comments as well. So smash the like button and get involved. Let's see. Where do we start? Well, let's start off with Ronaldo. I mean, last night that was just absolutely sensational. We love football, don't we? That's why we're watching this show. That's why we support Manchester United. We love football, and it was absolutely sensational what Ronaldo did in the World Cup last night. Especially when you watch what Messi did today. Ronaldo just does it everywhere he goes, and it surprises me that when there has been rumours like there has been over the last 3 weeks of him coming to Manchester United, there's people saying he's too old. I'd rather take Bale. I mean, it's all about opinion, isn't it? But effectively, all I would ever say is that he's not coming to Manchester United because Real Madrid would be thick to not give him the money that he probably wants there. It would be really stupid. And if for anybody who thought there was a slim chance of him coming to Manchester United, those slim chances ended last night. You can't score a hat-trick in a World Cup against a very good side and then be allowed to leave a club. It's not going to happen. I think what it does show is, though, that as I've said and as some of you've said, Ronaldo, why did anybody not want him? Why were people saying, oh, he's past it, he's on the decline, this, that and the other? Do you actually watch Ronaldo? How can you say he's on the decline? His body mass and fitness is that of someone in their mid-20s. His pace last night, them times when they kept breaking and they couldn't find him, but the pace is still there. The skill is still there. The finishing's still there. The quality's still there. I'd take him at 35. I must admit, I have said on previous videos and previous summers, it's now or never. But the man just defies logic. I mean, you shouldn't want to sign a 33-year-old, but I'd spend 150 million on him. It's not my money, it's money we've put into the club. I'd pay whatever it takes to get him, and I think last night was a wake-up call to anybody who doubted that. I would pay any money to get Cristiano Ronaldo at Manchester United. I think he is absolutely amazing. And Music Gaming says Messi's not a GOAT, not the greatest of all time. Look, I've always said I prefer Ronaldo, and that may be because he played for Manchester United. I think you put Messi in a Barcelona shirt and he looks world class. You take him out of that shirt and mainly in an Argentina shirt, he's just not the same. But Ronaldo, I mean, even Mourinho, I think Mourinho did it on purpose actually because he's in Russia giving lots of comments. Mourinho said something last week about Ronaldo, how he's not effectively as good when he hasn't got the Real Madrid players around him. And then he goes and does a hat-trick like that. And I think Mourinho was probably doing it on purpose because Mourinho's Portuguese and he probably wanted Ronaldo to hear that and be spurred on. Ronaldo was amazing last night. I would love him to come to Manchester United. It would be the dream. I've heard little bits. I've heard that he wants to come back to England because he wants his kid to learn proper English. And, you know, you cling on to things, you hope, but the thing is, I've heard people say Mourinho wouldn't want him because what about Lukaku? I don't care if we've got bloody Aguero up front. If Ronaldo becomes available, you kick Aguero on the bench, don't you? You kick Lukaku on the bench. He is just a one-off. But I don't think we can do the deal. I think Real Madrid would be ridiculously stupid not to give him all the money in the world. He's worth it. Why have they not given him the contract? He is worth it. Anyway, Jose's a good pundit, says Annie. I mean, what do you think about Jose Mourinho out in Russia at the moment? I mean, how long is he out there is what I want to know. Because if he's out for the whole World Cup, that's the middle of July. He manages Manchester United. I don't mind him being there till the end of June. I mean, I presume Woodward's got the list, but he needs to be back in Manchester at the start of July and sorting out this season. Transfer wise, we did go live last night. If anyone saw me in my nephew's room, I was away last night, and we had this news from Manchester Evening News that De Gea had signed a 5-year contract. I believe he is going to sign that contract. I think there's too much going on and there's too many rumours that he's going to sign the contract. What Duncan Castles has said is that he's not signed the contract. But I think that's more he hasn't signed the contract yet because he's out in the World Cup. So I'm not massively concerned about that. I think he will come to Manchester United. I think he will come back to Manchester United and he will sign the contract. And Real Madrid looked like what happened last night with De Gea and that mistake is hilarious. I don't care about David De Gea making mistakes for Spain. I love the guy. I think he's brilliant. But if he's going to make mistakes, please do it, David. Please do it in a Spanish shirt. I don't really care. I wanted Portugal to win last night. It was a fantastic game. I love De Gea, but I don't really like Spain that much. I don't want them to win the World Cup. I want De Gea to do well. But if he's going to make a mistake, I'm glad he did it for Spain. So all those Liverpool fans who come on and start going on social media about how, oh, look at you, oh, you're all slagging off Karius. Now look at you, take your medicine with De Gea. And I'm like, it's Spain in a group game. Yours was Liverpool in a final and blew your biggest opportunity to win a trophy in years. There's a big, big difference. And the biggest difference of all is when Karius made those mistakes, the fans turned on him. When De Gea made a mistake last night, countless tweets, messages on Facebook about backing De Gea. That's what real fans are all about. I don't care. People are going to make mistakes. Jose Mourinho said it. The best players make mistakes. They make mistakes. It's how you bounce back from that. So no issues at all from that. I was cheering when he did that, says Zane Scope. Look, some people wanted Spain to win because of De Gea. Some people wanted Portugal to win because they prefer Portugal. Let's talk about Koulibaly because Aides mentioned him there, and I want to talk about Koulibaly. Plays for Napoli, centre-back. If you're enjoying the World Cup like I am, Senegal plays for them, centre-back for them. Senegal are a decent team, by the way. Keep your eye out for them in the World Cup. But what I wanted to say about this is that I've always really liked him. We've mentioned him sort of on this show for 3 years in the summer. Koulibaly obviously comes up quite a lot, but he's never been linked to Manchester United until now. There are reports that Manchester United are interested in signing him. He's mid-20s. He would be very sort of similar sort of centre-back to Bailly in many senses. He's strong, he's good in the air, he's quick, he's pretty decent on the ball. Koulibaly and Bailly would be a great pairing, but Napoli have apparently come out and said that they're not going to sell him. And Napoli obviously have got Ancelotti going in. They're losing their manager. They're potentially losing Jorginho. They had a very good season last season, so I don't think that's going to happen. But I do like him. I've mentioned him a lot, and I know a lot of people in the live comments do. I say Alderweireld or nothing else and play Rojo with Bay, says Epic Wazabaz. Did you see Rojo today though? I mean, Argentina's defence is rubbish. It really is, and I like Rojo, and I think Rojo and Bay can be a good centre-back pairing, but you can sort of see why why he picks Jones and Smalling over Rojo, because Rojo is a bit clumsy, isn't he? But it would give you that balance, I agree. I was laughing because I wanted De Gea to put Madrid off signing, says Macattack 1986. Well, just quickly going back to the De Gea thing, in relation to De Gea, look at the way De Gea came out himself and said, I don't get much love from Spain. And exactly, hopefully, I think that would be the case. The other thing I want to talk about Pogba, but a very interesting thing from Italian papers. They were talking about Manchester United doing a 5-player deal with Juventus. Now, let me just think if I can get this right. A 5-player deal with Juventus, which would involve Darmian and Martial going to Juventus and Manchester United getting Alexandro, Mandzukic and Khedira. I was just... No, never. Khedira would not keep... Khedira, I remember I did a video on Khedira probably 2 months ago. I think I don't know what his contract situation is. He's either free or he's got a year left on his contract, so he's quite cheap. And he's never played in the Premier League. He's tall, and I think Mourinho signed him at Real Madrid. And nobody's ever mentioned him until now. We mentioned him 2 months ago, and not through any source or anything like that. Just the process of elimination. I would not be surprised if we went in for Sami Khedira. The only thing about him is he's very, very injury prone. He's not particularly fast, and I think he's into his 30s now. So I wouldn't really want him. Mandzukic is 34. He gives us a different option. Watching tonight for Croatia. If anybody is... if you are watching the World Cup games, we're doing watch-alongs on That's Football, the That's Football YouTube channel. I'm doing Croatia versus Nigeria at 8 o'clock tonight. So if you want to have a little watch about what Mandzukic is all about, I've put the eye in the top right-hand corner. That will take you through to the live stream, which is open. The comments is open now. Go there straight after there. We're live at just before 8 o'clock. So if you want to have a watch about what Mandzukic is all about, United are heavily linked to him. But what would be the players coming to us? Mandzukic, Khedira and Alexandro. Alexandro, we have to do that deal. Surely we have to do that. But Martial and Darmian the other way. I think Darmian is fast becoming the most boring transfer of this transfer window, isn't it? I mean, United fans, we can't even get excited about him going. He just needs to go. And it's going to be it's the bartering between 10 and 20 million. The New York Stock Exchange is going to absolutely fold on this deal. It is one of the boringest transfers of the window, closely followed by Daily Blind whenever that happens, because they are transfers that need to happen. But what are your thoughts? Mandzukic, Khedira, Alexandro for Martial and Darmian. I think we'd be missing out big time there, to be honest. We are... Khedira is a beast, good box to box. Sandro is world class and backup striker for Lukaku. So Christian Sebastian Thomason is happy with that. Christian, you're not Danish, are you, with a name like that? Good result for you. Beat my tip for the tournament, not for the tournament. I thought they were going to be the surprise package of the tournament, Peru. They just couldn't finish the dinner, could they? That penalty was Roberto Baggio-esque. I'd bloody love Mandzukic at United. Not pretty bad, but he does the job and he's a fantastic backup for Lukaku. That's from Kieran Byrne. I'm not a fan of Mandzukic, and it's nothing to do with his being linked to him. I've never been a fan of Mandzukic. Just doesn't do it for me, but I'll watch with more open eyes tonight for Croatia and see how it's going. I'm bloody loving the World Cup, by the way. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I do feel a bit detached from you lot because although we are still doing lots of content on here, I'm doing so much content about the World Cup, I just feel I miss you all. But I'm still doing lots and lots and lots. He's rubbish, says Ryan C. Mandzukic hat-trick tonight, says Bryn. Yeah, and then he reveals a T-shirt saying, Goldbridge, sit down. Messi missed a penalty today. Messi went missing. Yes, best game he did. Let's talk about Paul Pogba very quickly. Paul Pogba, after... what did you think about Pogba's performance today for France? There is so much going on around, so many games going on. I thought France were a bit fortuitous against Australia. Didn't cause me any surprises. Deschamps is a crap manager. He's got a fantastic team there, but there's no cohesion because he's a rubbish manager. But I thought Pogba was quite good. Yeah, there was the deflection, but if it wasn't for Pogba, they'd have been in a bit of trouble in that game. So I thought Pogba did okay. I agree with everybody that Pogba should be doing a lot more. He should be running games from top to bottom. But I do think he's getting a bit of unnecessary hate. And I spoke about this the other day. There was a poll in France where 70% of people didn't want him to start for the team. So he is a bit of a divider. He is a bit of a divider. But I thought Pogba was okay today in a poor French performance. He was asked, though, after that game, he was actually asked directly about things like Dybala saying he wants him back at Juventus. And all Pogba's come out and said is, I'm with France at the World Cup at the moment. I'm not talking about clubs or my future. So some people have taken that as does he want to leave? And I don't think that's the case at all. I think it is what it is, isn't it? It'd be fine. French manager is trash, says Kobe. Pogba was jogging too much, says Andrew Ellis. Pogba showed some leadership, rallied the team at the end, says Alex Manning. It's not hard to show the French a little bit of leadership. They really are a bit of a... Traditionally, they're quite weak when it comes to they have the talent, but they don't have the leadership. I mean, obviously they did very well around the 98 and early noughties, but that they lack leaders. Griezmann's got no leadership, has he? Mbappe's a kid, Dembele's a kid. They are a bit. I'm not surprised Pogba showed a little bit of leadership, and he needed to. He did need to. What else did I want to talk about? We've done Koulibaly, we've done Pogba, Milinkovic, Savic, De Gea. We haven't done Milinkovic, Savic. Let's come back to that. And Milinkovic, Savic tomorrow. I'm shouting out the World Cup here. Click the eye in the top right hand corner. That's the watch along for Croatia, Nigeria, and we'll pick up everything else about the World Cup on there. But Milinkovic Savic is playing tomorrow at 1 o'clock for Serbia. I'm doing the watch along for that on That's Football as well. So it's going to be a bit of a Milinkovic Savic watch and a bit of a Mandzukic watch tonight. Kovacic as well is worth a watch. I would like him. I like the look of him. I don't know whether Real Madrid will let him go, but with the new manager. Milinkovic Savic. So the Juventus guy said that he's going to sign for Juventus. And then there's something in Spain saying that he's going to sign for Real Madrid. So we need somebody to say signing for Manchester United. That's what we need. And but I'm looking forward to seeing Milinkovic-Savic tomorrow. I've watched a lot of him in Italy, and I want to see how he does in the World Cup, because it's a different style of football, isn't it, in the World Cup? And he's got 3 games against sort of different sort of teams. So I think they've got, I can't remember who's in their group. Is it Costa Rica, Switzerland and Brazil? So yeah, there's going to be a contrast of styles for Milinkovic-Savic to play against. And my concern always is with the Italian players, it's a little bit slow there. So let's see how he gets on. Please do smash a like on the like button. YouTube's having a bit, I must just say this as well, YouTube's having a little bit of problems at the moment. Not everyone's getting their notifications, and this is happening on a lot of channels. So please make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and then if you click the bell, make sure you've ticked to get all notifications. Even people who've got it ticked aren't necessarily getting them, but there is a bit of a YouTube problem at the moment. So, but as I always say with the United Stand, 7 a.m. every Monday to Friday is our transfer daily. 8 o'clock every night we're live. However, the big news flash is obviously it's 7 p.m. tonight, because I'm doing the 8 o'clock watch along, and that's football for Croatia versus Nigeria. And then every other night for the next week, we're live at 9 o'clock, because there's 7 o'clock games, and I'm actually doing the watch along tomorrow night for Brazil-Switzerland, which is 7 o'clock. So I'll be live on That's Football for 7 for the Brazil-Switzerland game, and then when that finishes, we'll be here 9 o'clock for Sunday Night Live with Sophie and Flex. So the 8 o'clock show is moving to 9 o'clock throughout the World Cup, because lots of people are watching the World Cup, and it just seems silly not to be live when everybody's watching the World Cup. So we'll do it at 9 o'clock. I hope that helps. RogV didn't get any notifications. This is what I mean. Twitter is just playing up. YouTube is playing up at the moment. Has anyone actually seen him play consistently world class? I have never, so I can't agree with this deal, says Epics. I don't know who he's talking about. Pogba is a world class player, and he will prove it this World Cup, says Kobe. I hope so. I hope so. He's got to do it. Mr. Stuntman says that the Peru right winger with the white hair looked tasty. Yeah, I'm not going to jump on World Cup performances yet, because Fellaini might score against Panama and everyone will say sign him up. I think the World Cup, you can get a bit of a mixed bag. Agent Matic would be trying to get Savic to United, says Eric HT. I hope so. I hope so. I really want him, and if Fred's the replacement for Carrick, then Fellaini's replacement should be Milinkovic-Savic, because he can play further forward and he can also play in the midfield. I don't know why people are getting all hyped up about why we're signing Milinkovic-Savic when we've got Fred. Our midfield lacked depth last season. Carrick's replacement's Fred. Fellaini's replacement should be Milinkovic-Savic. Of course, this transfer window could be a bloody nightmare, because Fellaini could end up staying, but hopefully he won't do. I'll keep repeating this. There will be some United transfer news kicking in soon. It may well be at the earlier start of this week, because the World Cup cannot be a reason not for us to be doing deals. I know it's gone very, very quiet at the moment, and I think that's just because it's the World Cup and it's the buzz of the World Cup and the first few days of the World Cup. But I think as we move through the World Cup and teams start going home and into next week, I think we'll start to see some transfer news picking up. Chelsea are going to appoint their manager. Obviously, Arsenal have got theirs. City will have a couple of players signed, and both of those players aren't going to be at the World Cup. So United do need to kick on a bit. I said this last night. We're a third of the way through this transfer window, and we've signed one player. By the time the World Cup's over, there'll only be a third of this transfer window left. 4 weeks. 4 weeks or 8 weeks where we are now. 8 weeks. Let's say we've got 8 weeks. We've not sold anybody. I think we need to sell 3 or 4, and we need to probably sign another 4. So that's 8 deals to do in 8 weeks. And a deal takes a lot of time. And it looks to me like at United, Woodward's involved in all the deals. So are we going to do 8 deals in 8 weeks? I don't think we are. So already we're not going to do 4 out the door and 5 in. And we can pretty much predict that now. But with every passing week, in a couple of weeks' time, if we've done no more deals, we'll be saying we can't do 6 deals in 6 weeks. So we wouldn't even have 3 out and 4 in. And this is the thing. We do need to kick on a bit and start getting some business done. We can't be, as is rumoured a little bit, waiting on people like Bale to see if we're going to get a big deal. Crack on and get some deals done. Mourinho obviously had a list and he gave it to Woodward. Crack on and get some deals done. This happened last season where we signed Lindelof around now, and then Matic and Lukaku were it. And Matic was right at the end of August. Kick on and get some bloody deals done. The thing is, the big thing for me is that we are 19 points behind Manchester City. This is not a normal transfer window where we go, let's just change a couple of players. We're bloody miles off. We need to change loads. And I, for one, feel that we should be doing a lot more business than we are. We will not get Neymar or Ronaldo, says Best Gamer. I'd agree with you on that. And I would not get Jack Wilshere, Andrew Ellis, because he's just get injured. He'd be another Phil Jones. Not about who we but it's about who we can sell. Can we sell Smalling, Darmian and Jones, Fellaini, get them off the wages and replace them, says Dominic Webster. Thiago would be better than Verratti. Well, Verratti's been linked to us again, Ryan C. But I would be happy with either of those. I just don't think Mourinho will go for another smaller midfielder, if that makes any sense. Martial, Darmian and 50 million for Sandro and Dybala, says Wet Lettuce. I'm tired of judging players on possible talent like Pogba, Martial and Depay. If you don't ever or rarely show up, then they can go, says Paul Lucas. Do you see De Gea or Pogba as next Manchester United captain, says Vishnu. I don't think Pogba should be given the captaincy at Manchester United. I don't care if he shows a little bit of leadership in the last half an hour of a game against Australia. Pogba needs to show... I'm not bothered about Pogba being captain, because what I'm bothered about Pogba is consistency. Do what Salah and is Mo Salah and De Bruyne a captain of Man City and Liverpool respectively? No, they're not. They're consistently putting in top class performances week in, week out. That's what I want Pogba to do. I don't give a toss about him being captain. I'm not bothered about him being captain. All I want Paul Pogba to do is befit the fee and status that he delivers in the price we paid and how he acts off the pitch. I want him to act on the pitch like the player he's meant to be. World class, week in, week out. It's not hard. We've seen players do it at United week on week, year on year. He needs to show that consistency. And if he does that and he thinks he should be captain, fine. I wouldn't give him anywhere near the captaincy at the moment. And also, the captaincy can have a bad effect on a player. I think the captaincy destroyed Rooney. Rooney was a player who played on the edge, had aggression, got given the captaincy and went all moral and grown up. Didn't get involved in that aggression anymore, and his ability fell away because of that. So no, I'm not. I don't want Pogba to be captain until he can show us that he can play well week in, week out. That's the most important thing for me. We need one deal, a new manager, says Aaron Cunningham. Fred should be confirmed next week, Martin Beattie. Fellaini as captain, Mark, says Gazel Cesar. And my wish list is still Sandro, Savic and Willian, and a few Deadwood out, says Mark Reardon. Ryan C, give De Gea the captain. And Gabriel Medina, Pogba just needs to play for the team and keep it simple. Best Gamer, we need a better player. I mean, what I would say, just going back to Pogba there, this was in Don Balon, which is effectively, think of your worst outlet and then just, it's Spanish. They do come out with stuff that is just ridiculous. So they were coming out that Pogba's unhappy at Manchester United. He doesn't see he can mend the bridges with Mourinho and he wants to leave. Now, there could be some truth in that, but because it's written by them, I wouldn't imagine there is any truth in it. If Pogba's unhappy, sell him. If Pogba wants to go, sell him. If Martial's unhappy and doesn't feel he can work with Mourinho, sell him. These are players I want to stay at Manchester United, but I do agree. If they're not happy at this club, sell them. Get rid of them. It's the best thing for United in the long run. We need players who are hungry and they want to play well for Manchester United. What's the news on Verratti, says Karen Kapoor. It was out of Argentina. It was a massive news outlet in Argentina talking about United looking at Verratti. But we spoke about this on, was it Thursday night? Maybe it was Wednesday night. I think we saw it from French sources. But the reality with PSG is the BBC were reporting that they've got to raise £60 million in 2 weeks by the end of June. In transfer fees. So they've got to sell people in the next 2 weeks. And Verratti's agent is Mino Raiola. Well, every summer that Mourinho's been here, we've bought somebody from Mino Raiola. And his best client is Verratti because Kluivert's just gone to Roma. So, and we need a midfielder. And PSG need to raise a bit of money. So, I'd love Verratti to come to Manchester United. I'd just be very surprised if we did it because he's small. And Mourinho loves big players, and he's just bought 5'6" Fred. I mean, it'd be brilliant if we signed Verratti, because it would be like, wow, Mourinho is really changing. Instead of the midfield of giants, slow giants, plod, we'd be getting some real tenacious, smaller players in. So, yeah, it'd be great. I'm all for it, and it could happen. It makes sense. But Zach says he's overrated. Draxler, Markinos says hi. You know, Draxler would be a good player as a right-sided player. Play off the left as well. I'd take Draxler. Yeah, definitely. I can see Verratti going to Barcelona considering Iniesta is leaving, says Leroy7. Yeah, I've always imagined him going there, to be honest. George Kyle says Verratti would be so good. And Verratti is super technical player, says Sage. I mean, for people who don't know much about Verratti, people say he's like Pirlo. He's not. He is more of a sort of Iniesta, probably more of a Xavi sort of player, really. Tenacious in the tackle, got a good range of passing, can dribble, good off both feet. But he does like a tackle. And that's good. That is good. I don't want Jack Wilshere, K Fricky, because he's injury prone. Would be good if it could get Verratti for 60 million, says Ian Turlington. Yeah, it would be. Obviously, that would be the end of the Milinkovic-Savic thing, but some people aren't that fussed about that anyway. Pankaj says Verratti is top class. And Zizou says Verratti is world class and he's exactly what we need. Please subscribe to the channel if you're new, actually. I should have said that a lot earlier because we're very close to 235,000 subscribers exactly. I was looking before we went live. We're about 10 short. What about Nainggolan, Mark, says Andrew Suddick. I would take Nainggolan. I would. I think he's a good player. Again, he's knocking on the door of 30, but I would take him. Mourinho likes big men, says Charlie Collins. He does. Fellaini, Matic, Pogba, McTominay, I think they're all 6'4" or 6'3". Yeah, Lich, I'd agree with you. He says, how is Verratti world class? People are mad. I mean, I wouldn't put him at the world class stage yet, but he's top class. John Joe Shelby, says Tyler Cole. We need a centre-back, says Laser. Okay. Nainggolan's going to Inter, apparently, says Divium. Who's my pick for captain? I think this is a big problem for United. We don't actually have a captain. That's the problem. Julius says that Manchester United have an offer of 65 million rejected for Inter defender Skriniar. I really like Skriniar. I've mentioned him quite a few times. Milan Skriniar at Inter Milan. I think he's Slovakian, about 22, sort of rock solid sort of centre back. I'd be amazed if Inter Milan sold him though, because Inter Milan have suddenly become very difficult to do deals with. Very difficult indeed. Anyway, I need to get off because I'm going live on That's Football in 10 minutes for the Croatia versus Nigeria watch along. So thanks everybody for watching. If you want to join me over there, just click the eye in the top right hand corner. The live comments is open and I'm going to be live there in 10 minutes. So I shall speak to you on there if you want a little bit more of Goldbridge and you're going to be watching the World Cup tonight. Croatia versus Nigeria, Mandzukic watch. I'm live in 10 minutes. Click the eye in the top right hand corner. Please do drop a like on the video. We're not neglecting the United stand. I know everyone's in World Cup fever, but United is still the number one focus. So we are going to put a video up tomorrow, but Sunday Night Live is 9 o'clock tomorrow, UK time. I know we're normally 8 o'clock, but it's bang in the middle of so many World Cup games. We're knocking back to 9 o'clock, knocking back an hour for our 8 o'clock shows for the next 2 weeks. So 9 o'clock is when we're live tomorrow night for Sunday Night Live with Sophie and Flex. And if you are interested in the World Cup and you like a bit of a watch along, click the eye in the top right hand corner and I'll be live on there in 10 minutes. Hope to see you all on there. Looking forward to it. Mandzukic watch. Please do drop a like on your way out. Let's see if we can get over 500 likes. Thanks everybody. You're absolutely fantastic and I'll speak to you all soon.